A pleasant good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Williamson Field, where this afternoon the Pontiac Indians are in the Final Four. And Tim, the Final Four for the Indians, what a sweet sound that is.
It certainly is. They're taking on a very tough Bronco team out of Lombard, Montini. It's a Catholic parochial type school, and they come in with 11-1 mark, as do the Indians 11-1. This place is packed, and what a supporting group this crowd is going to be for this community and such. So we're looking for a great football game.
No doubt about it. Gorgeous day for football if you're playing it.
You cannot ask for a better November Saturday afternoon weather in central Illinois. Temperature in the low 40s, winds 10 to 15 miles an hour, no more. Ideal conditions, the field's in great shape. We're ready to play.
No doubt about it. Too bad we weren't playing, but the Indians are. And of course, the Indians are led by Reggie Kennedy, Jimmy Burnside, three of the best wideouts in central Illinois, Coach Peterson called them last night at the Pep Rally.
Well, it should be an explosive type of football game. We know the Indians, it's well documented, the offense that they can put on the board. Montini comes in with a very explosive offense. Highland, the running back, is a 4.5 speed in the 40. The Indians will have to keep an eye on him.
Joe Highland, he's got lightning quick speed, and you can't let him turn the tackle, can you?
He runs out of the eye, and he likes to get to the outside, and they do a great job of blocking for him. And at that point in time, he is off to the races. The Indians have to control him.
Keys to the football game in your mind?
Well, the offensive line and defensive line of scrimmage, always a key in a football game, and I think it's magnified at playoff time as well as turnovers. And the Indians do not commit a turnover, keep the turnovers down. Conversely, if they can have the Broncos come up with a few coughs of that football, I think the Indians are in great shape.
I think we've got a great chance of putting a lot of points on the board too, don't you?
I think so. I think the scores are going to be in the 20s or above. I'll be very surprised if it's a low-scoring football game.
Mick Peterson said he's wanted high school football, a full powerhouse in Pontiac since he came here. He's got a powerhouse this year.
He certainly does. Again, the 11-1 mark come in. His best season, obviously, as a coach, getting to the semifinals of this 3A playoff football game, and the Indians coming in, as you mentioned, with a high-scoring offense, and we're expecting a shootout here.
And they're expecting 5,000 people for this football game.
Well, they're calling between 4 and 8, and I think right now we got about 3 to 4 in here at the moment, and they're flooding through the gates here. So come on down to Williamson Field. If not, you can catch it here on Channel Cable 4.
Tim, the band comes your way next, and then we'll be back with an opening kickoff here at Williamson Field. Taken by an up back out there, fouling around the 25, diving for the football, and they got it around the 22. Lombard has the football at their own 22, recovering that time for Lombard, number 33 on the play, Brian Hudacek.
Well, Hudacek, he was lucky because that ball was bouncing on the turf a long time. Smith again kicked it away from Highland and Kubal, the deep people, and the ball was on the turf, but just before Frankie Polium comes up and makes the hit, the recovery there, Broncos 1st and 10.
1st and 10 for Montini at their own 22-yard line. They're out with their veteran, their sophomore quarterback, and number 12, Matt Andriano. Andriano works out of an I formation to tail the All-Stater in Highland. Andriano, receivers go right and left at the 22, barking out the signals on the first play from the line of scrimmage. Pitch out right side of Highland, going to throw the football deep down the right side, throws it, got a man, and it is caught on the play, inside the 50 to the 40.
Well, Wallach in a surprise play right off the bat. That's a halfback option. They pitch it to Highland, everyone's looking run, and the Indians were caught, and Wallach running the fly pattern, and the ball was delivered. Thankfully for the Indians, the ball was up in the air a little bit too much, but before Smith can tackle him, the Broncos are in business.
11:32 to go, opening lap, no score, I formation, receivers go right and left. Andriano works at the Indian 47, drops under his center. Andriano takes a snap, delay hand off the Highland, inside of 45-40, gaping speed inside the 40 to the 35-yard line. 1st and 10, Montini on the march with Joe Highland, and he is a running back.
Highland is. He ran right over his left guard, left tackle position, and picked up an additional 10 yards plus another 1st down. So far, the Indians, not a good start defensively.
11:23 to go, opening quarter. 1st and 10 at the Indian 35. Receivers go right and left, closed I formation. Matt Andriano, the quarterback, goes to work, the sophomore. Got an audible here. Work his receivers closed into the tight end formation. Andriano drops under center at the Indian 35, barking it out. Still barking it out. Taking the snap, sweep off the left side. Highland, he's dangerous out there. Gets inside to 35, on his feet 30. Jukes one tackle, finally up and finally twisting and turning and going down around the 27-yard line. It is about an 8-yard pickup on the play and called second along 2.
Pat Foden on the tackle, but not before. Picking up great yardage. Highland one more time. It's just out of the eye. The sweep to the left there, Mark Edwards.
Again.
Picking up good yardage.
Again, Tim, there's the thing. They've got to wrap him up. They cannot let him get that extra yardage like that.
10:30 to go, opening quarter, no score. Receivers right and left, again out of the straight I formation. Football at the Indian 27, 2nd and 2. Andriano at the Indian 27. Quarterback keeper inside the 25, diving close to the 23-yard line. 1st and 10, Broncos, and they're on the march here in the first drive.
Again, the Coach Pete said that's a play that they have ran very few times. When they run it, he runs it for great yardage. Well, that time they stuffed him up, but not before picking up a first down. And the Broncos are on the march in their first possession.
They'll mark it right at the 24 with 10:09 to go, opening quarter, no score. Receivers right and left. Again out of this eye. Andriano on a 1st down and 10 at the Indian 24. Hands it off to a tail and Highland. Inside the 20. Still on his feet, finally going down around the 18-yard line. About a 6-yard pickup, calling 2nd and 4.
Picking up the tackle there, Reggie Kennedy and Brett Graves, among others. That time again, guys, 6 yards and a crack. That's not good defense at all, and the Indians need to shore it up here, or they're going to come up in the short end of a score right off the bat.
Montini, a very quick ball club, aren't they, Mark?
Very quick. We knew coming in, watch for Joe Highland and also for the quarterback, Andriano.
2nd and 4. Andriano going to work here. Sweeps it off the right side to Highland on a pitch out. Tripped up and tackled on that play. Not much there off the right side. Credit Frankie Pulliam out there in the tackle, and Jeff Roberts.
Roberts turns it in. Pulliam comes in from the linebacking position, and that time hits him at the line of scrimmage for very short yardage. Looks like they have about a 3rd and 2 situation. First 3rd down here situation the Broncos will face in their opening possession. Let's see how the Indians respond.
9 minutes to go, opening quarter. No score in the football game. 3rd down and short for Montini. Football at the Indian around the 17-yard line. I formation, 3rd and short. Big play here. Andriano under center. Takes the snap to Highland to give. Up the middle. It's going to be close. I think they might have shut it down. They're working off the guard. Very close.
Very close indeed, but when you come in 190 pounds, a surge, and he didn't need much. And again, they'll probably be in 4-down territory to begin with, Mark Edwards.
That it is. They're going to bring out the chains to get this measurement, but I'll tell you, they've been working on Highland, and he is their key. He's run for over 1,800 yards on the season.
That'll be very close. Boy, he is a workhorse, isn't he? They got it. 1st down and 10, Broncos.
Well, the good news is, looks like the Indians' defense stiffened a little there in that particular series of downs, but still the Broncos picking up 1st down yardage inside the 15. Big challenge for the defense right off the bat here in the first quarter.
It is time to rise up for the defense. 1st and 10, Montini. Football just inside the Indian 15. I formation, receivers right and left. Man Andriano takes the snap. Delay handoff. Got a quarterback keeper inside the 15, diving close to the 11-yard line of the play. Good run that time by Andriano.
Well, Folk just missed him. He shot in the gap and missed him there. It would have hit him for a loss. But I think Trost then picked up the tackle there, but not before a 3-yard pickup. 2nd and 7. That's the best the defense has done so far on a 2nd down call. Let's see what happens for the Broncos.
7:59 to go, opening quarter. 2nd down and a 6 out of an eye. Receivers right and left. Football at the Indian 11. Andriano rolls off the right side, going to keep it off the right side. Dukes a tackle to the 5, diving close to the 5-yard line, just inside the 5. It'll be close to another 1st down.
Again, the option play, and they ran it to the right. This time, just turned up the field, picked up 5-6 yards. Good blocking up front by the Broncos.
Another measurement coming up, gentlemen. And it'll either be 3rd and inches or 1st and goal for the Broncos.
You know, 2 weeks ago and last week, the Indians had trouble in the early part of the football game defensively, trying to come up with a way of stopping the offense. Again, that seems to be the story, at least in the early going here. For the Indians, if they're going to do it, it's 1st and goal at the 5. They need a big turnover or a huge stop.
It'll be 3rd and short for Montini here. With 7:43 to go, opening quarter, no score in the football game. Football just inside the Indian 5. They'll mark it.
Okay, they didn't get it, of course, in a 3rd down call, 2-down territory, or 4-down territory. This is a tough call.
Andriano, watch out for the quarterback keeper here. Andriano takes the snap, hands it off to Highland, got room off the guard, going into the end zone, touchdown, Lombard Montini. Oh my, gaping speed.
We talked about drives and keeping it out. Well, that is about a 5.5-minute drive by the Broncos right off the bat. Impressively done indeed. And they jump out on top here. The Indians will go on offense and we'll see how they respond to it. At the moment, the fans are kind of quiet. Not a lot to cheer about when you have the ball ran down the throat, all set up by that halfback option play on the first play of this drive.
Delskanoor got on for the hold. Extra point is up. It is low. It is up, and it is off to the right. No good. There's a break. 7:27 to go opening lap. Montini 6, the Indians nothing. You're listening to high school football on WJEZ, line it's 93.7, and WPOK. On the 20-yard line, Ogan gets the signal from the referee. 6-0 Montini. Ogan puts the players down in unison, runs upon it, low kick. Taken by an up back out there, across the 35, he dots at a Hurricane, up to the 40-yard line. First and 10, Pontiac Indians.
Tim, we saw this on films with Montini, and they will give the opposition very good field position. 40-yard line for Pontiac, great field position.
Right, we mentioned the kicking game's not very good, and we saw that so far in the extra point miss, and now apparently they don't like to go deep, so I don't know if that's by design or the fact that they don't have anybody to put the football deep. But first and 10, here we go.
Deep or not, I wouldn't want to kick it to Heath Dodson either.
7:16 clock running in the opening quarter. First and 10. Receiver shift all over the place like ballet in motion. Wide left pressure. Now Smith will go wide left. Slide off the left side pressure. Single back set in a Hurricane. Burnside goes in motion far side. Reggie gives to Dodson. Butts off one tackler across the right side. Not much there that time. No gain on the play. Call it 2nd and 10.
Absolutely no gain at all. Heath was hit right at the line of scrimmage. He had very little chance of picking up yardage. Setting the offense quickly for you offensively, that's Jeremy Dodson at center, Scott Robinson, Jason Waldschmidt at the wideouts. Now Albert Trost will come in at the center position. Steve Gall's your guard. Tyson Naylor is your tackle. Aaron Stewart's your tight end. Your wideouts is Pressure and Smith. Burnside and Dodson are your running backs. Of course, Reggie Kennedy at the helms.
Oh, they're talking it over here. Flag and a play.
See what Montini does if they wanted to make it a 2nd down and 10 or 1st and 15. They're going to decline it.
2nd and a long 10. They'll call it the decline the penalty.
So now with Albert Trost into the offensive line right now. Let's see, Albert going in to play center.
6:44 to go opening quarter. 6-0 Broncos. Indians go wide left with Callis sliding off the left side. Smith split backfield setup. Reggie Kennedy brings Callis in motion to the far side. Kennedy sits in the pocket looking, pumps once. Rush comes on, scrambling to the left side, throws deep on the left side, got a man, it's incomplete. Overthrew Callis that time.
Well, what happened was Kennedy was flushed out of the pocket, and Callis was open for a moment. That's a tough pass to throw. And now all of a sudden the Indians facing 3rd and 10. The worst scenario here is the Indians go 3 and out, give the football right back to the Broncos. That's certainly not what the doctor ordered for the start of this football game.
A lot of people up here were saying Jason Smith was wide open on that play too, guys.
Well, he was open on the far side. That's a tough call. Reggie's flushed out, running to his left, looking back right, but he certainly has the arm to throw it.
3rd and a long 10, 6:35 to go opening quarter, 6-0 Broncos. Split backfield setup. Receivers go right and left. Reggie on a 3rd and a long 10. Kennedy, the general, goes to work here at the 40. Takes the snap, sitting in a pocket looking. Throws a deep sideline pattern. Got a man in Smith. It's incomplete. Knocked down on the play that time by number 42 for Lombard Montini with a great play. And that was James Wolick.
Wolick there on the defense. Again, Smith was running a down and out, but the free safety came over, and the ball falls incomplete. 3 and out, and looks like the Broncos will get the football right back.
4th and 10. Indians will be on the punt with Jason Smith this time. Back there deep is Highland. Smith will hit it around his 30. High punt. Goes way up top. Bouncing to the 30. Takes an Indian hop inside the 30. They'll mark it around the 28-yard line. Montini will have it at their own 28 with a 1st and 10.
Two things so far, Mark Edwards. First of all, Reggie Kennedy with a apparent muscle injury is not your regular punter. It's Jason Smith. Also, I see Jason Smith, who has been in kickoffs all year long. He wasn't back to start the kickoff of this football game. So a couple of minor shifts there, but no matter. The Broncos up 6-0, trying to add to it. The Indians will see their second look at the Montini offense.
6:20 to go opening quarter. 6-0 Montini. I formation set up at their own 28. Andriano takes the snap. First back through, diving close on the play. Fumble on the play. Indians have it. Indians have it at the 28-yard line. Albert Trost on the fumble recovery.
Trost got the fumble recovery. Coach Peterson says they will put the ball down on the turf 3 or 4 times. We're going to take advantage of that. That's their first fumble of their last 3 games. They have lost, even though they're putting it on the ground a lot.
Looked like Jimmy Burnside in on the block guys and on the takeaway, and Trost falls on it for the Indians at the Montini 28-yard line.
6:14 to go, opening quarter, 6-0 Montini, but the Indians have it at the Montini 28. Wide left goes pressure, sliding off the left side. Single back set, Heath Johnson. Aaron Stewart goes wide left. Now they shift all over the place. Stewart goes in a tight end slot, wide left pressure. I formation set up at the Bronco 28. Reggie takes the snap, rolling left, pitch out the Burnside. Got room, 25, angling left 20, trying to turn the corner, can't turn it. Inside the 20, around the 18-yard line, close to a first down. Jimmy Burnside on the run.
Two things. First of all, great vision by Jimmy Burnside. Give Jake Pressure credit. He held this block, but he did not get caught with the hold. That's a tough block out there by a wide receiver, Mark.
It was a very tough one because the official was right there, and you got to watch, because if he's back there far enough, he could say you're holding him. He did not. He held it long enough to get Burnside loose.
They'll mark it at the Bronco 19, 2nd and 1. 5:25 to go, opening quarter, 6-0 Broncos. Double receivers out the right side, I formation set up. Reggie Kennedy on a 2nd and 1. Hands it off to Dotson, first down and more. Inside the 18, diving close to the 16-yard line on flag. And it's 1st and 10 Indians.
Heath Dotson is running best when he goes tackle to tackle. Exactly what he did, picking up the tough yardage, the blue-collar worker inside, picking up a first down for the Indians as they are knocking at the door.
I'll tell you, for going 3 and out, Tim, to get a second reprieve and get it in Montini territory, this could work both ways against Montini and for the Indians to really psych them up.
Well, definitely the Indians need to take advantage of great field position and this turnover.
5 minutes to go, opening quarter, 6-0 Broncos. Reggie takes it, hands it off to Dotson. Got room to 10, to the 5. Finally tripped up and tackled inside the 5 at the Montini 4. 1st and goal to go for the Indians, and Dotson on the carry.
Give credit to Scott Robinson and Jason Waldschmidt. They're the ones that opened up the hole. Running there, Heath Dotson picking up another 11 or 12 yards in that carry. 1st and goal for the Indians.
I'll tell you, he's been the workhorse. I would not mind seeing him hand it off to him right now. He's been picking up the yardage, and big yardage, too.
We're going to see a powerhouse backfield, or a full house, backfield, gentlemen.
Yep, with Callis as the quarterback.
Here's the full house. Coach Pearson playing cards. Callis on the snap, hands it off to Kennedy. Bobbles, picks it back up. Off 3 tacklers, touchdown! Reggie Kennedy and the Indians. Oh, what a room. He dropped the football and scored still.
Special K picks it up and runs to the end zone. A 4-yard touchdown run. The Indians have tied up this football game. Talk about a season of breaks and bounces. We just saw one there, and if you're home listening, the ball drops to the turf. He picks it right back up and dances his way into the end zone.
Hey, somebody's got to tell Reggie, guys, that we're not playing rugby. We're playing football. And he's had the lucky bounce twice on a couple of fumble recoveries from the snap, and I'll tell you, he's made them look good.
4:34 to go, opening lap. We're knotted at 6. Jason Smith on for the extra point. Callis on to hold. Jeff Callis parks it out, placement down, extra points up, and the extra point is good, and we're having fun at Williamson with 4:34 to go, opening lap. Indians 7, Broncos 6. You're listening to high school football on Light Hits 93.7 WJEZ and WPOK. Back with more in 1 minute.
Million in Pontiac.
Kicked off out to Highland, 15, 20 on his feet, 25, crossed the 30, and finally tackled. Tackled right around the 28-yard line, they'll mark that football. 1st and 10 Broncos at their own 28-yard line.
Down there making the tackle looks like Jimmy Burnside among others, and they kicked it to Highland that time. He caught it, but good special teams by the Indians. A weakness last week according to Coach Peterson. This time in the early going, they have done their job, the special teams have.
7-6 to score, Pontiac by 1, 4:18 to go, opening lap. I formation, receivers go right and left. At their own 28, Broncos have the football. Andriano on a snap. Rolling off the left side, still keeps the football, jukes a tackle, and finally goes down around the 28. No gain on the play. Aaron Stewart and company.
Stewart and company makes the hit. I did not catch the far Indian defender, but he was with Highland, and they were not going to make him pitch it. And Andriano had to eat the football right at the line of scrimmage, give him a half-yard pickup.
That's about all, just a half-yard pickup. Also, besides Stewart, Kennedy in on the wrap-up, too.
2nd and 9.5, they'll call it. Football just at the 29. I formation, receivers right and left. 3:40 to go, opening lap. Indians lead by 1. Andriano on a 2nd and 9.5, sitting in the pocket. Throws the left side. It is caught by Wolick, diving close to a first down. Across the 35, diving close to the 38-yard line. And it depends on the spot.
Looks like he might have picked up the first down, but Jeremy Turner is your defensive back. And boy, that's tough territory out there. When you got to be so concerned with running the football, it's single coverage, and you got to give him a little bit of cushion because Wallach's a good one, and it's just a stop pattern. Picks up the first down. Broncos in business.
3:20 to go, opening lap, 7-6 Indians. Montini has it 1st and 10 at their own 38-yard line. I set up receivers right and left. They'll run it all day. Andriano dropping under his center, taking the snap, handing him Highland, across the 40, diving close to the 45-yard line on a play. About a 7-yard pickup, calling 2nd and 3.
For Highland, he picked up 35 yards in that initial touchdown drive, opening drive by the Broncos. Of course, their second position stopped at the fumble of the first play. Now here in the third possession, he again picks up 7 yards. The Indian defense really has to toughen up there. Tackle to tackle is where he's picking it up so far.
2:46 to go, opening quarter. 2nd down and 3. Andriano working at his own 45-yard line. Giving it to Highland across the 50, inside the 50, joking close to the Indian 45. 1st and 10, Montini, and he is a football player, isn't he?
He certainly is, Mark. Gibbons and Krish are the people opening up the holes up front. And again, he picks up 8 yards. It's redundant, but he ran over right tackle, between tackle and tackle.
What we've got to do, Tim, and if you look out there, they've got to somebody's got to put a bump on him at the line of scrimmage is what's not happening. That's why he's been able to pick up anywhere from 5 to 6 on an average.
He's got to fix his socks. They wear these high tube socks or whatever they are out here.
Well, the shootout's in effect, gentlemen, by the way this one's going so far. 7-6 still in the first quarter. 2:22 to go, and the Broncos are on the march.
1st and 10 at the Indian 45. Andriano working out receivers right and left. I set up close tie-to-tie. Handed off to Highland inside the 42, diving close to the 41-yard line on the play. About a 4-yard pickup, calling 2nd and 6.
Brett Graves on the trip and then wrapped up out there by the secondary for the Indians. But again, that's what they've got to do, Tim. They've got to give them a little bump or a little trip right there at the line of scrimmage.
Well, even with that trip, 4 yards a shot is not going to get the job done. The backers have got to come up. Coach Pete was concerned about the splits of the offensive linemen and stretching him out. So far, it seems to be working for the Broncos.
2nd and 6. Andriano on the snap. Give to Highland. Nowhere to go. Pat Vogt led the charge up the chute, marking around the line of scrimmage, and that was it.
Well, Pat Vogt got him right underneath and dumped his feet right at the line of scrimmage. Right you are, Mark, on the call. And that is one of the few times the Indians have stuffed them at the line of scrimmage via the run.
And that's one thing I think that'll help the Indian defense right there, Tim, is to get them where they know that a nose guard or a defensive tackle can make the stop.
That'll make Mr. Vogt happy on that tackle by his boy. Receivers right and left eye formation. Big play here. 3rd down and a long 5. Football at the Indian 40. Andriano going to work, sitting in the pocket, looking, pumping, still pumping, throwing deep down the left side. Got a man, it is caught! Diving inside the 10-yard line, around the 8-yard line. Beautiful catch out there on that far side by Wallach.
Wallach again, and Jeremy Turner was the man out there. Turner had great field position and coverage, except he didn't look back. And you got to watch the eyes of the receiver. And when the receiver looks back, Jeremy didn't look back in time. Wallach makes a circus catch, and the Broncos are in business. 1st and goal at about the 9.5.
Right at the 10, they're going to mark it, Tim, is where they've got it, right at the line.
49 seconds to go, opening quarter. Montini business here. Receivers right and left eye formation set up. Andriano drops under his center, takes the snap to give to Highland off the guard, diving close to the 5-yard line of play. Good pick up that time by Joe Highland.
Highland's name, you'll hear that all afternoon long, and there's another call there. Pat Vogt looks like he was in on the hit, among others. So he gets off the bottom of the pile there.
2nd and goal, the ball at the 7-yard line.
The only good advantage for the Indians when you have a 1st and goal situation, they do have to go the entire length of 10 yards, almost to the foot. So that's a break for the Indians. See if they can take advantage of that situation.
Andriano brings him out. I don't think they're going to get another playoff, though. Nope, they won't, Mark.
That'll do it. At the end of 1 quarter, it is Pontiac 7 and Montini 6. You're listening to WPOK and WJEZ, Central Illinois Sports Connection. Back in 1 minute. Finds themselves with a 2nd and goal from just outside the 6-yard line, Mark.
All right, Montini and a 2nd and goal to go at the Indian 6. I set up. Andriano, the sophomore QB, gives to Highland up the middle of the 5, diving close around the 3-yard line into the play. It'll be 3rd and goal to go.
Highland again, Mark. We're gonna call that. And running right off right tackle. That's just power football out of the eye, as Mark mentioned. Boy, they're knocking at the goal line. Of course, I'm sure they're in 4-down territory down here this deep. I would suspect if they don't make it on 3rd down, they'll go for it on 4th.
11:36 to go before halftime. 7-6 Pontiac, but the Broncos are threatening. Out of an eye, receivers right and left. At the Indian 3, Indians lead by 1. Andriano works that long snap, kind of is. The give to Highland, up the middle. The end zone touchdown, Joe Highland.
Highland for this touchdown. His 2nd of the afternoon, I do believe. He scored the 1st one as well. Again, that drive was fueled by a pass and catch of 39-some yards on the receiver end of Andriano to Wallach, setting up the Highland run for the 3rd possession of this first half. 2 of them have resulted in touchdowns for the Broncos.
Well, they will go for 2 to try to give them a 7-point advantage over the Indians.
They lead 12-7. I set up receivers right and left. They're going for the 2-point conversion. Big play here. Andriano fakes the give. Quarterback keeper going nowhere. Tries the pitch out. Doesn't get it. Indians shut it down. And he was going down for the tackle. Tried the pitch out. He likes to do that.
He does on the option plays what it was, and it was penetration. And Andriano got hit the line of scrimmage, and he had no attempt but to pop it out to the Highland. But Frank Pulliam was there. There's a big break for the Indians.
Another break. The Indians thwart another conversion. So after the touchdown, it's Montini 12, Pontiac 7. You're listening to WPOK, WJEZ, Central Illinois Sports Connection, back in 30 seconds.
Off a phrase usually for punting, but the front people got to be alert.
Oh, going to run upon it. Low kick taken out there by deep valve and Callis across the 30, juking off the right side, got room, 35, turning a corner, 40, on his feet, 45, 50, inside the 45, cuts back 40, finally driven up and tackled, right around the 37, a Lombard Montini. What a run by Jeff Callis.
But did you see the block Jim Burnside threw at the 40-yard line to give Callis some yardage? I mean, Burnside just wiped somebody out here at the 40-yard line, just nailed him. So the Indians on the march again. Good field position.
Special teams, we talk about it, or the lack of it for the Broncos, from what we picked up on films, has really hurt them. And inside the 50-yard line in Bronco territory, once again, the Indians need to take advantage of this field position.
Single back set in the Hurricane. Now they shift all over the place. Wide left goes Smith, slide out the left side pressure. Storton a tight end slot, single back set and Donson. Reggie going to work at the Montini 37 to give to Donson. He fell down. Lost his footing around the 38, loss of 1, call it 2nd and 11.
Heath Dotson there was looking like he was going to go over a right guard, changed his mind at the last second, looked like an opening to the left, lost his footing, as Mark mentioned. And once your knee hits down in high school football, of course, you're down at the spot. So the Indians will have to go up top, it looks, here in this 2nd and 11.
2nd and 11 right now in the Montini territory at the 37-yard line.
Kennedy puts Smith wide left, split backfield setup. Wide right, Callis. Reggie kicks Callis in motion out of the far side. Kennedy takes the snap, sitting in the pocket, looking. Little slant play, got Smith inside the 25, angling right, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Jason Smith.
Kennedy to Smith connection all year long, works there, a slant pattern. Jason Smith makes a move, he's off to the dance, and oh boy, was that pretty.
Well, my pick-to-click hit once.
Your pick-to-click hit once, and the way this football game's going, it's going to have to hit more than once. But right now, the Indians are back up on top, 13-12. Extra point pending.
And they're going to go for the 1. But I'll tell you, and what did we say? We saw some things the other day. We said if they go with an overslant, either to Stewart or pressure, this time they found Smith, and he just broke to the end zone.
10:26 to go before halftime. Indians lead 13-12. They're on for the extra point with Jason Smith. Callis on the hold. Jeff Callis, the sure hands. Takes the snap, placement down. Kick is up, and the kick is good. 10:26 to go before halftime. Indians 14, Broncos 12. You're listening to high school football. Atlantis 93.7 WJEZ and WPOK. Back with more in 30 seconds. Lightning in motion. Smith runs upon it. High, end over
Good
end kick. Taken by Highland. Look out, folks. On the 15, 20 up the middle, 25, 30. Gaping hole, 35, 40. Fumbles, or got the football across the 45. Jukes one tackle close to the 50-yard line. I thought he fumbled, but he angled the right side, and he's up around the 50-yard line. Beautiful run that time by Highland. Highland.
Well, the wedge was formed, and the wedge people got in there and destroyed it, but then there wasn't any backup people. Jeff Callis, I think, was the one that took the swipe, and it looked like the football might pop out. But it did not. Field position, great again now in the Broncos' favor.
Well, Tim, should the Indians get another touchdown here in the first half, I doubt very much if you're going to see a straight in the air kick to Highland.
They'll mark it at the 49. I formation, receivers right and left. Andriano takes the snap, give to Highland inside the 50. Right up the shoot that time, not much there around the 48-yard line on the play. Give him about 3, call it 2nd and 7.
Little better job there by the defense, especially in the first down call. Jeff Roberts in the bottom of the pile as Pat Vogt. And those people up front, they have their hands full in trying to not only shut off blockers and stop some holes, but trying to get their hands on one very quick runner in Highland.
2nd and a long 7 here. 9:39 to go before halftime. Indians by 2. Andriano with this explosive offense to the Broncos. Receivers right and left. Taking the snap, sweep off the right side. Highland's got room inside the 45. Finally driven up and tackled inside the 45.
Looks like Reggie Kennedy over there on the far side with Brett Graves. And one more time.
The two linebackers.
It's out of the eye. We saw that a lot on the film as we got a chance to view. And it's just a Green Bay Packers sweep to the right, if you will, out of the I formation. Big third down call.
They don't do anything fancy, do they, Tim? It's right out of the I formation or maybe with a lone setback, but you never see them in a pro set or anything else like that. It's always the basic I.
Basically, what you see is what you get out of the Broncos.
3rd and 4. 8:50 to go before halftime. Indians by 2. Andriano on a 3rd and 4 here. Taking the snap, sweeping the left side. They got Highland inside the 45, 40 on his feet, 35, making the left side, 30, 25, 20. Finally driven up 15 and tackled inside the 15 around the 10-yard line. Joe Highland, when he turns the tackle on a sweep, he can go.
Well, I would suspect Highland's got to be near the 100-yard marker in rushing. That's a sweep to the left side. And when I said look out, it's because he had one blocker and only this corner came up, and I see the Indian defenders are just talking to themselves right now. I don't think they've seen quite a runner in this whole season as in Highland at the moment.
1st and goal for Montini.
They'll mark it at the 9 of the Indians. 1st and goal to go of an I. 8:25 to go before halftime. Indians by 2. Andriano. Man Andriano taking the snap. Give to Highland. Trying to go up the middle. Not much there, if any. Maybe 1. Call it 2nd and goal to go.
Stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Pat Vogt on the bottom of the heap there. He'll be credited with that tackle. That's a good surge by the defensive line of the Indians that time, standing up their blockers, shedding them off, and stopping them right at the line of scrimmage.
2nd and goal to go. They'll mark it at the Indian 8. Boy, that Highland's unbelievable, isn't he?
Boys, before you can catch your breath off one score, we got another one knocking at the door. It's a shootout, all right.
I set up. They close tight it. Receivers right and left. The sophomore QB will go to work at the Indian 8. Taking the snap, sweeping pitch out right side of Highland. Got room off the right side to 5. Angling the wedge, twisting, fumbles the football. Diving for it. Indians have it. Indians have it at their own 2. Aaron Stewart picked up the football. Oh, my.
A gain of 5 before he coughed up that football. Highland was on his way into the end zone, and that would have been about 115 yards of rushing. But at the 2-yard line, I didn't catch who popped him up.
Reggie Kennedy had popped him, but I also think Pat Vogt might have had and I'm not sure who picked up the recovery.
Aaron Stewart.
Stewart picked it up, but the Indians thwart one. Now a long, sustained drive would be really nice on the Montini Broncos.
First, they need to get out of the hole here, a little breathing room.
They're at their own 2, 1st and 10. 7:35 to go before halftime. Indians by 2. The give off the left side looked like Burnside in the carry. Not much there off the left side.
Tough going down there in your play selection. You'd love to pick up a first down or 2 just to get out of the hole. The last thing you want to do is to give up the football right now. Joe Highland has 115 yards of rushing in this first half. What a show he's put on. But the Indian defense, give them credit. They stripped the football. That's the 2nd turnover for the Broncos via the fumble in the first half.
Well, the Broncos, they're not used to that, Tim. And I think what we said the other night when we were talking round table, I don't think they've seen a defense like the Indian defense.
Split backfield. Double sets off the right side. 2nd and 8. Reggie looking, throwing over the middle. Got a man. Callis diving for a first down. A baseball slide to the 20. That a boy, Jeff.
Safe at first base, right at the 20-yard line. Great call. That time, Smith is your wideout, Callis is in the slot, and he just runs a pass pattern that finds the seam, and Reggie delivered to him right on the gut.
Well, Jeff does play a little baseball, and he slid perfectly into the catch.
That's the call you need to get out of the hole.
6:43 to go before halftime. Clock running. 1st and 10. Indians have it at their own 20. Double sets the left side, single back set and Donson. Reggie rolls off the left side.
Oh, look
right
out!
Side of Burnside. 30, 35, jukes tackle 40, on his feet 45, inside the 50, driven up and tackled. Tackled around the 48-yard line. Little trick play that time.
Well, it's a misdirection. We've seen it all year long, and that's when Burnside, and that was his touchdown run at Kewanee, if I remember right, Mark Edwards. In any event, we're inside Bronco territory. GB, Jimmy Burnside.
But I'll tell you right now, credit Kennedy, and also back there with the great fake. I mean, it was perfectly read because they held the ball away, so they didn't see which way it was going. Burnside come around, and he had it tucked away, so none of the defenders, Montini, the whole defense was going towards their right, our left.
I know number 33 there of the Broncos, and of course he is your inside backer. He was sucked in. We have a timeout on the field.
We've got a timeout on the field with 6:28 to go, and you're listening to WJEZ, WPOK. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Set and Donson. They trip the right side. Coach Peterson moved this offense all over the place today. There they go. Wide left goes Smith. Wide right pressure. Split backfield set up now. Reggie going to work with pressure and motion to the far side. Kennedy at the Montini 48 sitting in the pockets. Got all day. Looking. Deep over the middle. Got a man Smith. 30,
wide
25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown!
You called the mark. That combination is hit. Pay dirt twice so far today. Kennedy to Jason Smith. I don't think the Broncos ever saw all the motion, and by the time everybody was set, Smith is so wide open down the field, you and I can catch that football, baby.
It's the missile to the rocket, then it's blast off. That's what that is.
A 48-yard banger, Kennedy to Smith, and this crowd is going bananas.
Well, we knew that they were weak between the linebackers and the defensive line, but they are weak past the defensive linebackers because Smith just beat everybody.
20-12, Pontiac by 8, 6:21 to go before halftime. Smitty's making me look like a genius. Callis on for the hold. Ball snap, placement down. Kick is up, and a kick is no good off to the right, but that's all right. 6:21 to go before halftime. Indians 20, Broncos 12. You're listening to high school playoff football. On It's 93.7 WJEZ and WPOK. Back in 30 seconds.
Let's see if they kick to Highland.
Smith will tee it off. Indians by 8, 20-12. Smith runs upon it. Low kick. They'll keep it to an up back. Around the 30. Wobbling. 25. He falls down. They finally pick it back up. They're still diving for the football. Montini has it at their own 25. 88 on the pickup that time. Joe Holler.
For a Holler, he just fell on the football. A good job by him. 6 minutes plus here in the second quarter. Plenty of time for the Broncos and the explosiveness they have on offense. So this is far from being over, obviously. A big miss by Smith and the extra point. They are a touchdown, a 2-point conversion away from tying this one up.
But now let's see if the Indian defense can come to work right now.
Indians on defense. Montini has it at their own 25. 6 minutes to go before halftime. Indians by 8. Crowd yells defense. I formation, receivers right and left. Andriano looking, throwing left side to slant. It is incomplete. Good defense by Callis. Trying to go to Wolock that time. Almost picked.
Almost picked because of poor pass, actually. That was a dying duck out here in the near flat, Mark Edwards. It was just a down and stop pattern, if you will, for the receiver. Callis read it perfectly, and it was a dying quail.
Well,
Okay, Mark.
I'll tell you, I was looking out there, and the uncle and the nephew, Vogt and Trost, are going at each other. They're trying to pump each other up, saying go for him. And right now, they got a 2nd and 10. This is a big stoppage play here.
2nd and 10. They shift all over the place. Receiver goes wide right up an I formation. Andriano brings Highland in motion to the far side. Andriano.
He's not in the play.
Rolling off the left side, quarterback keeper trying to make room. Finally tackled around the 28. He's going nowhere off the left side.
That's because Albert Trost turned that play in. Trost, the defensive end there, wasn't in on the tackle, but if he gets him outside, Andriano has the speed. This time the pursuit called up with him. Give him a pickup, though, of 4 yards. A key call here, 3rd and 6.
Well, Tim, if the Indians can stop here, we also know that the Bronco punting game is not the greatest in the world either. So the Indians, if they could stop here, they had 2 long pass plays before. They've got to stop them on this one.
5:20 to go before halftime. Clock running, 3rd and a long 6. Wide right Ogan out of an I formation. Receivers go right and left now. Andriano taking the snap, sitting in the pockets. Got all day looking. Throwing deep down the right side. Got a man in Wolock diving. Incomplete. Good defense by the Indians. Good coverage by Kellis.
Boy, Wallach was open over there, but that would have been a picture-perfect pass, and Andriano could not deliver to him, and Callis was there for the coverage. So it appears, we'll say it appears, in this explosive type of football game, the Indians will get the football back, I would guess somewhere near midfield. Mark Edwards, you just talked about field position and the inability of the punting game. We'll see this firsthand, this will be the first punt for the Broncos. Highland, is your kicker.
Highland on the punt. He'll take it around the 15, hits it. High punt.
Not a good one.
Good field position. Fair catch taken at the 45. They'll mark it right at the 46. Indians will have it at their 46. And Tribune, how do you spell Jason Smith? Touchdown, baby.
At the moment, anywhere, Mark, you're exactly right. Smith to Kennedy, that's 2 touchdowns so far today.
I think he's got another one in him, too.
I would suspect he might need 2 or 3 more out of him, because I'm going to tell you, the Broncos are going to put some more points on the board before this one's over. And the Indians will need to execute and continue to do such.
Boy, the electricity out here, Mark. Unbelievable, isn't it?
You can just feel the intensity and everything else. And right now, the Indians will have the ball at their own 46-yard line.
Indians have it at their own 46-yard line. Wide right will come pressure. Slatted off the right side, Jason Smith. Single back set and Donson. Winged off the right side, Jimmy Burnside. Orengia going to work here at the 46. He'll bring pressure in motion to the far side. We got movement, we got flags, and I think that's on the Indians.
Yep. Little movement in the line. That'll be procedure. 1st and 15 is going to be the call. Very few penalties in this football game that I can recall.
Second
guys.
penalty.
Second one of the first half. Very clean football game to date.
So the Indians calling this one. This time, Montini will take the 5-yard walk-off, make it 1st and 15. I want to see who gets Smitty this time. They've tried 2 different defenders on him. Let's see if they put a 3rd kind of defender on him to try to stop him.
Might be a white flag covering him. Double receivers on the right side, single back set and Donson. 1st and 15. Renshie works at his own 41. He'll bring pressure in motion to the far side. Kennedy, the give to Donson. Donson across the 45, diving close to the 48-yard line. 7-yard pickup. Call it 2nd and 8.
That's what you need on a 1st and 15. You got to get some of that yardage back. Heath Dotson just running over there over Waldo. That's Jason Walschmidt, Scott Robinson over there one more time. Good yardage.
Tim, what you're seeing right now is the Montini Broncos are not on the balls of their feet. They're on their heels backpedaling because they're not sure what the Indian offense is going to come at them. Are they going to run the ball or are they going to throw a pass? And they're just backpedaling all the time right now, trying to stay one step ahead of the Indian offense.
2nd down and 8 here. 4:30 to go before halftime. Double receivers off the left side, I formation set up. Reggie fakes the give, pitches out to Burnside. Got room to the 50, inside the 50, diving close to the 45 of Montini. Very close to a 1st down, just short.
Short about a yard, and what looked like a disastrous type play, starting with a potential turnover and then resulting in a loss. Jimmy Burnside just really picked it up, and that's strong running there by JB.
But the other thing was Reggie Kennedy waited until he got hit before releasing that ball, too.
It'll be 3rd and 1 football, just outside the 45 of Montini.
I would suspect, even though you certainly wouldn't want to give the Broncos the ball at midfield, this is 4-down territory already, the way they're moving the football.
Wide right, Smith slide off the right side pressure. Single back set, Dotson, quarterback keeper trying to get up the middle for the surge. I think he got it on the last surge. Inside the 45, diving close to the 43-yard line. That a boy, General.
No need to make a decision there. Reggie took care of it for us. 1st and 10 for the Indians, more importantly, at about the 3-minute mark from near ice can tell with the sun on the clock there in the north end zone. The Indians retain possession. 2 things. You're moving the football, potentially putting points on the board. More importantly, you're keeping the ball away from the Bronco offense.
20-12 Pontiac. Split bank field set up. Wide right comes Smith. Slide out the right side, Kellis. Could be a pass play. They come out of a split bank field. Renji going to work at the Montini 43. Kennedy sitting in the pocket looking right, throwing the right side. They got Smith. Incomplete. Off his hands at the 38 to the ground, but that was a tough catch.
Well, one of the few things Jason Smith's done wrong, and that one, he just took his eye off the football. It was a pattern picking up 5-6 yards and let him do the rest, but unfortunately he dropped it. He looked like he was pulling his head out looking for where the defenders were before he caught it.
Well, as Tim reiterated before, this way it keeps the ball out of the Broncos' hands right now, but you'd love to put another one in before halftime. And I sure as heck hope he doesn't have another halftime speech like he did last week up at Spring Valley Hall, meaning Mr. Highland.
2nd and 10, high setup. Double sets the right side. Orenji Takes the snap, rolls off the right, pitch out to Burnside.
Nice block.
He's got room off the right side, and they close it. He tries to angle the 40, and that's about it. Around the 40, maybe a couple-yard gain. It'll be 3rd and 8.
Jason Waldschmidt threw a nice block out there, but it was the upbacks that came up.
Actually, they flooded the zone well there as far as the defenders coming up to the line of scrimmage. The hole actually was inside of Waldschmidt, but that's not the design of the option, obviously. And they just strung it out. All of a sudden, the Indians face a 3rd and long, one of the few situations they've been in all first half long. Broncos at the moment trying to do it defensively.
3rd down and 8. I set up. Wide left, Kellis. Slide out to left side, Smith. Reggie on a 3rd and 8. Little slant play to Smith. They got him incomplete. Good defensive coverage out that time on a quick hitter by number 22 from Montini, and that's David Doe.
Well, that is a tough pass to catch, first of all. It's basically thrown into double coverage. It was trying a quick hitter, if you will, and now they will go for it. Nope, they're going to punt. That's what they should do. Smith back to punt the football.
Smith will stand around his own 48. Takes the snap. He'll hit it. Line drive punt.
Highland's going to let this
far
go.
Side. It'll go to the end zone, and Montini will have it at their own 20-yard line. With about 2:56 to go before halftime, Indians lead 20-12. The sun right on the clock now, isn't it?
Well, the Indians did not take advantage of field position that time. A golden opportunity goes by the boards.
Now they've got to shut them down. They cannot let, and this is where Montini is probably their most dangerous, Tim, is back here when they get the big play. We got to stop them from the big play.
The Indians noted for big plays. This Bronco football team certainly is. Right you are, Mark.
Wide left goes Wolick. I formation set up. Andriano working at his own 20 here on a 1st and 10. Sweep the right side to Highland. He's got room 25, 30. Finally tackled outside the 30 to the 32-yard line. 1st and 10, Montini. And that kid runs the football, and he runs hard.
He does. The one thing he does hold that football out. For a potential strip, it was hanging out there again. He's running to the far side, and that football is tucked in his left arm. That's not the arm to have it in on. We'll see if they can take advantage of that, but 11 yards a pop, they're going to get in before the end of this first half. We're at the 2:41 mark.
1st and 10, Montini. Andriano. Barking it out, taking it, sweeping left this time to Highland. Got room 35, 40 on his feet, open field 45, 50 inside the 45. Finally driven up and tackled right at the 40 of the Indians. And oh my, this Joe Highland. He sweeps off left tackle and he turns it in a hurry.
Well, that time Frank Pulliam, among others, got caught inside, and there was some great blocking up front by that line of the Broncos. And Smith, Jason Smith, was the man to tackle him from behind, or actually from the angle there. The Broncos, impressively, are they moving that football on the ground.
We're at the OK Corral for this one, an old-fashioned shootout. Football just inside the 40 of the Indians. I set up, receivers right and left. Andriano sitting in the pocket looking right. Rush comes on, he's flushing right, throws the right side, got a man, it's caught on the play. Inside the 25, driven up and tackled around the 23-yard line. Good catch out there that time by number 33, Brian Hudacek.
Again, that pattern is almost a broken pattern out there. Hudacek comes up with the reception, but good job of ad-libbing by Andriano, the quarterback, and delivering on the numbers. It looks like the Indians had it defended again, but all of a sudden the receiver comes up with a catch. They are knocking at the door at about the 22-yard line.
That sophomore is smooth. Andriano, right at the 22 of the Indians will mark it. Taking it, sweeping left to Highlands, got room off the guard, 20 inside, diving close to the 18-yard line, 4-yard pickup call on 2nd and 6.
One thing to note, this football team certainly is for real, the Broncos, and when you give them opportunities, they're going to take advantage of it. Right now, they're taking advantage of a missed opportunity by the Pontiac offense in the series before, and now the Indian defense needs to siphon. The fans certainly are doing their thing. They're yelling defense.
There's Rob DeBolt down there trying to get them fired up.
He's got a D letter. He's got a fence in his hand. They're yelling defense. That's pretty cute. I set up. 2nd and 6. Andriano sweeping right to Highland this time. On his feet, 15, angling right, finally going up and down. Around the 13-yard line. Very close.
I think he picked up a first down from the look of it from up here. Well, I'll backtrack now. The mark is back a little bit deeper. I think he's nope, picked it up.
1st and 10. Montini has it at the Indian 13.
I think the Broncos have 2 timeouts. They did take one on a defensive timeout. Is that not right, Mark?
That's
Edwards?
right. They have 2 timeouts remaining here. 1st and 10 at the 13.
Clock's running 1:25 to go in the half.
Wide right goes Wolick. Wide left goes Ogan. I set up. 1st and 10. Andriano dropping under his center at the 13 of the Indians. Taking it to give to Highland. Up the middle for not much. Maybe the 11-yard line. 2-yard pickup. Calling 2nd and 8.
There's Sean Dunning in the tackle and Pat Vogt also.
And Trost also was in there on the disruption that time. So let's give credit to the defensive front folks for the Indians. One of the few times they have come up with a hit there. Will still pick up 2 yards. I thought they hit him in the line of scrimmage. That just shows the strength and that offensive line and the running ability of one Highland.
With 168 yards in the first half.
Unbelievable. I set up receivers right and left. 35 seconds go before halftime. Indians by 8. 2nd down and 8. Football at the Indian 11. Play action fake, rolling right. Andriano's got time. Throws to the end zone. It is batted down, incomplete by Jeff Kellis out there. Oh, what a play.
Boy, oh boy, Callis came up at the last second and just lunged at that football with his hand and deflected it away.
Thank goodness he deflected it up because there was another receiver behind him in Wolak. Those are the ones where you got to bat him down, Tim.
Nick Peterson cheering on his ball club on the field now. Working this ball club, his defense. He wants them to come up with 2 more big plays.
I'm looking at the clock. Is that 26 seconds on the clock?
Yep.
Okay.
3rd down and 8, 26 seconds to go before halftime. Football at the Indian 11. I set up receivers right and left. Andriano dropping under his center, taking the snap, looking right, throwing right side. Got a man in Wolick, twisting and turning short of a 1st down. Right around the 4-yard line.
Not enough for the 1st down, though.
4th and 1.
There's a timeout on the field where the Pontiac Indians leading 20-12 with just under 15 seconds remaining in the first half. You're listening to WPOK, WJEZ, Central Illinois Sports Connections, back in 30 seconds.
It was 18, but maybe it's 17. I set up receivers right and left. Andriano goes to work on a 4th and 1. Taking the snap to give to Highland up the middle of the end zone. Touchdown. Touchdown, Joe Highland again.
Highland, who's rushed for over 170 yards in this football game in the first half. There is a big play by the big play people. Joe Highland and the Broncos are down 2. Now, Coach Pete's going to call a timeout. I know he's not happy at all with the situation that his defense has given up, but one thing they need now to do, I'm sure the Broncos will go for 2.
And there's a timeout on the field. You're listening to WPOK, WJEZ, Central Illinois Sports Connections, back in 30 seconds.
Andriano drops him down on a 2-point conversion. Taking the snap, sweep right side to Highland. Going to throw the football, throws to the end zone. They got a man, good to Ogan. 2-point conversion is good. We're knotted at 20 with about 11 seconds to go before halftime.
A well-designed play. Everybody thought Highland was going to sweep right and throw the football. That's his second halfback option of the first half. He started off this football game with an option pass that went for a big reception, setting up their first touchdown drive. And now with a 2-point conversion, everybody was sucked in. The defensive backs think he's going to run this football. And now we're going to go to halftime tied up 20-20. I guess it's appropriate. We called for a shootout, but boy, oh boy. The defense of the Indians are definitely on their heels, as are the Broncos. They're on their heels, and the offenses have been clicking on both sides.
We'll probably get one play after this kickoff, Tim, I would suspect, because of the formation. They don't give a real good formation for the Indians, or the Broncos don't give it a good formation. I don't see them kicking this one deep. That's not their nature of the beast.
I certainly wouldn't at this point in time.
Knotted at 20. Boy, both ball clubs are superior, aren't they?
Game of surges. The Broncos had it to start this football game. The Indians got a little bit of momentum. Couldn't come up and capitalize in great field position when they were up by 8. And now give credit to the Broncos. They've come back here in the waning moments of the first half and tied this football game up 20-20.
Peter Ogan will kick it off for Lombard. Montini runs upon it. Low kick taken by Dotson across the 28. Comes the other way now, angling the left side 30. Finally going down and tackle around the 32-yard line. It's only about, 9 seconds to go before halftime?
9 seconds, I think, on the clock there.
I tell you, they got one play, maybe, unless they're going to go in. Let's see what they're going to do. I'm not sure. They get the ball set. And now, yeah, that's what the Indians are going to do. So the clock does not stop, because the minute they would have got it set, it would have ran. there's a break in the action, 9 seconds to go. Don't go anywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if Reg, as Mark said, air it out.
You got two options here. If you're going to throw a Hail Mary type pass right off the bat, you might have two of those type passes left. Or you run a route that may be a 15 to 20 yard pass that you can get in under 7-8 seconds, pick up a first down, call your final timeout. Also, if they do happen to pick up a first down, the clock does stop while the chains are moving, and then they have their opportunity to throw the Hail Mary.
Boy, this Highland, I tell you, he's got all the writing. He's got everything he could get. He deserves it.
Certainly does. When you run 200 yards of rushing offense in the first half, I don't think he's right at the 200-yard mark, but he is close. We'll get the halftime stats here for you, of course. That's going to put a big hurt into you defensively, and that's exactly what he has done. 172 to be exact.
Split backfield, receivers right and left. Rengio got to work at his own 32 on a 1st and 10, but more importantly, only 9 seconds to go before halftime. Brings pressure in motion near side. Kennedy, that long snap gun of his, taking it, looking, sitting in the pocket. Throws the right side in the flat, got a man in pressure on his feet, 35. Gets up and out of bounds around the 38-yard line with only 4 seconds to go before halftime. 6-yard pickup call at 2nd and 4.
Of course, everybody in the stands knows what's going to happen, and they have a deep valve back there. That time they went with the underneath man, picking up a little bit of yardage, trying to set up one final heave, and I think this will do it if you're going to. With 4 seconds left, they won't get another play off.
Wouldn't it be surprising if everybody thought it was a pass, you get a quarterback draw?
Or a screen pass of some sort. We've seen those go.
Well, here's the last play of the half. They bring Burnside in motion far side. Single back set, the lone setback Heath Danson. Reggie sitting in the pocket. No rush comes on. He's got all day looking. Now the rush comes on. He fumbles. The football goes down. Sacked, and we're at halftime. Knotted at 20 in a great football game in a Final Four here. You're listening to high school football on Light at 73.7 WJEC and WPOK. Mark, Tim, and Darcy back with the halftime in 2 minutes.